morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 16th, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's start this morning call with a quick disclaimer. I only express my studies, I'm not a financial advisor. Future stocks, cryptocurrency, and options trading involve substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for every investors. The valuation of future stocks, cryptocurrency, and options may fluctuate, and as a result, investors may lose more than their original investments. Folks, let's start with those big orders that printed yesterday, and then I developed the morning call video. As I told you guys over here, if you go up to 5,845, 5,850, and if I didn't see this player closing their puts, probably I will enter short. Okay, just to make clear. I posted you guys a couple of days ago a very clean SPX graph. Let me find out over here, with a possibility of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves using the Elliott wave pattern and projecting a Fibo from 2009 bottom at 666.75, right? This was the graph. Per the Fibonacci, take me to 5,930. Of course, XPX, we don't need to go exactly over there, could you go a little bit above, and that's it. Why I'm talking about this graph? Because the book right now starts to be kind of bearish. So we could see a reversal from where we are. Because that I posted in the Twitter, for those that calling a crash, this is not the time yet to call a crash. Okay, we can have like a ABC inside the last wave, that's the wave 5. Okay, and looks like that we will start the ABC. Okay, could you be a very short ABC or a little bit longer? When I say short and longer, I'm talking about could you go up to 5,750. Let me put next week over here. As you guys see, we have a lot of puts open at 5,750 because that I'm telling you guys, could you be a little bit shorter the ABC going up to 5,750, or we could see markets breaking down 5,750 and go up to 5,648. Those are the two levers that we could see a pullback. Okay, but so far, book is really start to show more weakness below 5,750. Okay, and consequently, this ABC could you be a little bit shorter, going up to 5,750 and bias jumping, or if you see a break, the tendency is go up to 5,648. If you go up to 5,648, probably the ABC that you supposed to be see here, right? You generate a new impulse that could you break the preview Fibonacci 100% target at 5,932. Okay, could you go a little bit above? Could you take yours above 6,000? Now let me get my graph. Then I show the numbers that I have been showing you guys, right? The first one is 5,959, this purple. And the last one, I use another Fibonacci. Could you take me to 6,112? Okay, of course those are projection through graphic. is pure speculative. Okay, is pure speculative. 5,960, 6,112. Okay, so repeating what I just said. If you see a new ABC here, right? That's what the book suggested. Especially next week, I'm seeing a lot of puts reaching the tape, right? So we start to see negative delta. Open interest is getting higher in out of the money puts. Volatility skew is still showing discrepancy between out of the money contracts. So the probability to see a ABC is really huge, and also allow dealers to roll over their long gamma with lower price. Okay, so going back to this very clean graphic, ABC here, you'll be very healthy. It's not time to call a crash, right? It's not time to call a crash yet, right? Because the ABC corrective could generate impulse to bring us above 5,932, above the current all-time highs, and could you take us up to 5,960, 6,112, 6,066. Those are the levels, right, as I showed in the preview graphic, right? So it's totally normal to see a ABC, a corrective ABC inside the last phase of this melt up, the wave 5 in a Elliott wave pattern. Okay, since we already covered this pattern, now let's go back to the summary and also to the orders. If you market today backtest 5,945, for example, and if I will not see those orders being closed, I will open a short, as I said, because this guy is a big player. It's kind of, let me do a mathematics over here, how much in dollar was his investment. He bought 1,000 contracts multiplied per 100, right? So he bought 100,000 index. I mean, he sold. Multiplied for the price that he paid. He invested basically $5 million. Now he already almost double his investment, right? Because the put already costing like 80 points 10, almost 100%, almost, not yet. Okay, so this is a big order, right? This is a big order. 5,900 supposed to be is minus 1 delta right now, right? So we don't have more spread between intrinsic and extrinsic value. So if you go up to 5,945, because that's the break even, I mean the break even is supposed to be 5,860. If you go up to 5,645, and if you not see those orders being closed, as I said, I'm thinking to open a short to buy XPX puts for end of November. Okay, if this player is not closing those orders, this player is telling me that we tend to see some turmoil from now on. Could you be related with the US election? Yes, could you be? But as I said, this is not a time to call a crash. This is supposed to be a ABC corrective that will generate impulse for new highs. Okay, being very clear. In another hand, if if at the open I start to see this player closing those contracts, is because the setup is to go up to 5,932. without pullback, right? Exactly the 100% Fibonacci projection when you put 0 at the bottom of August 2009 at 666.75. Okay, if you will not see a pullback, I will be a little bit how can I say, caution regarding top, regarding, you know, how can I say, a break of 5,932, 5,950. Okay, so the health setup to see XPX up to 6,000. So that's the correct thing to do in a graphic pattern, and also in the flow that is already I'm already showing over here, especially for next week, is to see a ABC corrective to generate impulse to 6,000. Okay. I also posted to it, be careful, don't call crash yet, and also top is not in, right? Top is not in. The pullback that happened yesterday, the flow prior was set up to make that movement on Monday, not on Tuesday. Remember that I told you guys, I expect at least 30 points pullback and another bounce, and then you see how the flow will be. But they, squeeze people on Monday, bringing market to up to 5,800, 5,870. The previous setup was 5,830, right? So the previous setup was 30. So much probably we will not go up to 45 anymore. Much certainly we tend to go up to 5,830. Why I'm also telling you guys about 5,830. Okay, so pay attention in the DAX. So check that the first resistance is 5,820, the second one is 5,830, and the maximum target is supposed to be 5,840. According to the gamma exposure, right, the magneto will push us up to 5,830. But pay attention that we start to see some weakness at 5,820, 5,830. We, of course, calls on dominance, right, those levels, but puts start to print, especially in pre-market, between 5,820 and 5,830. So maybe we see a rejection in those levels. Maybe we will not go up to 5,850. 5,850 is the obvious target because we have DAX and we have GX. Okay, we have DAX and GX. 5,850 is the obvious. Going back to the market structure document, if you go up to there, especially 45, and if I do not see those puts closed, the tendency, my strategy will be to open to buy a put for XPX, expiration end of November, strike 5,900. If you start to going up, break up 5,830, back in test 40, 45, right? And those contracts start to be closed, you just go back to watch screen because they could take us up to 5,932, that Fibonacci target. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you that 5,850 is a key level. Basically, is the inflection point for the upside. If you break and close above, the tendency is to keep this bullish flow, and we could keep going higher. Okay. If you go up to 50, those contracts will not be closed out. The tendency to see a rejection and a sell pressure. Again, what I start to tell you guys about the ABC correction in the beginning of this morning call. We could see a small ABC going up to 5,750, as I show you guys next week. It's a lot of puts open at 5,750. Could you act as a support? So our ABC could be smaller, going up to 5,750 only. But if you see a break, I expect 5,648 will be viable. 5,650. So basically we're talking about 100 points pullback or 200 points pullback. Smaller ABC 100 points pullback. A little bit bigger ABC 200 points pullback. Okay, so those are the major levels that we need to monitor. If you come to my spreadsheet and start to look for the week 4, you guys will notice they are trying to flip the gamma and the DAX at 5,800. That's today's causing dominance, positive gamma, positive DAX in 5,800, but the puts start to run higher. You start to be higher than the calls contact at 5,800. So 5,800 start to be fragile, not stronger anymore. Consequently, breaking down the tendency to backtest 5,750, where we have a very huge put wall. As I said, the ABC could be 100 points pullback or 200 points pullback, going up to 5,648. Okay, going back to the market structure document and talk about today. Basically, I already said, but let's read the summary. I expect a bounce tomorrow. So far, future is telling that I'm right. As you can see in the structure above, XPX is still structured to keep the trade above 5,800. It is. For this week, up to Apex, it is. So if I didn't see 5,900 puts, that's what I have been telling you guys, being closed, those contracts, probably are short tomorrow. I will be counted to open longs position. In another hand, if they close it, I will be bullish, and you could see XPX trading back higher. So back test at least 5,970. Anyway, tomorrow range, today range, right? Today, XPX is set up to trade between 5,709 and 5,845. So we already talked about the range. Exactly 5,709, 5,845. So pay attention that this range is still in place because they trying to put 5,709 as a positive DEX, so tend to be the support, right? And instead of 5,845, now you know the maximum upside target to move 5 points up, now to 5,850. So this is the obvious level, right? 5,850 is the obvious level because you have DEX and JAX. Right? Yesterday the setup was 45. I want to know to highlight some things that the DIX move higher, right? So they add liquidity, so came from 44 to 45%. You know, measure liquidity, measure DX is kind of difficult to tell you that market is going higher, market is going down. So basically, I like to measure the DIX, you know, is liquidity. If you have liquidity, you have more buyers because also we have sellers, and those liquidity providers, as soon as you know they put more liquidity in the book, is because you have a lot of buyers. Since you know the DIX move higher, you know the dark pool index is telling me that we still have buyers. But something that caught my attention is that the GX dropped $1 billion. So dealers start to accelerate market. As soon as they start to accelerate market, you will tend to see the volatility will be unpinned. It's already higher, could you be go more high, right? We have election. Election, usually we have volatility during the election. Doesn't matter where. If you be like in South Africa, Mozambique, Brazil, Spain, Italy, United States, wherever, Japan, we will see turmoil, right? Always, always. That's totally normal. This is a pattern because nobody knows what the new president will do, how will be the monetary policy, if you continue or not, if it be tightened or expanded, if they will provide liquidity to the economy or not, right? So it's really difficult to measure at the beginning. Usually we have turmoil in the period of the election. So seeing GX dropping means volatility acceleration in the market, but you have buyers because the IX is went up. But if you have buyers, you have sellers too. Okay, but markets have liquidity. We already talked about the flow, the DEX, JAX. I don't want to go through this. So we already reviewed the levels. So today we could see trading between 5,709 and 5,850. I just want to highlight one more time. If you go up to 5,845, 5,830, and you see a rejection, those puts will not be closed. Are you willing to buy, SPX puts and hold? In another hand, if you go and break 5,830, 5,845, backtest 5,845, and those puts start to be closed, are you back to watch screen? But we need to have like a bullish bias because the flow tends to be supportive. As I said, next week flow doesn't look like bullish to me, right? So 5,850 will be a key level. If you go there, I mean look for 5,860 will be the rejection. If you go up to 5,860, you see a rejection and close below 5,850, is because the flow will flip to be bearish. Means we will see a ABC corrective, or up to 5,750 or up to 5,648. Guys, take care, enjoy your day, talk to you guys during the intraday.